Hi guys, it's me Faye here at Faye Dusk, and today I am doing another video for my Back to Basics series, and in this video I'm going to be talking about the 13 goals of a witch. And for those of you who haven't heard about them, but I'm sure quite most people have, 13 goals of a witch they were created by Scott Cunningham, and he published them they've been published in his books a lot of times, and obviously since there quite a lot of people have taken them and used them, and even though that they're not traditional, i.e. meaning that they're made up, they're still, I feel that they're really an important sort of like ethical code, I suppose, to sort of like live your like spiritual life by, I suppose. So basically the goals are, the first one is to know yourself, the second is know your craft, the third is to learn, the fourth is to apply knowledge with wisdom, the fifth is to achieve balance, the sixth is to keep your words in good order, 7, keep your thoughts in good order, 8, celebrate life, 9, attune with the cycles of earth, 10, breathe and eat correctly, 11, exercise the body, 12, meditate, and 13, honour the god and goddess. So I would just do a sort of quick explanation of each one, and this is just my personal interpretation. You might interpret them differently, which is like totally cool, but this is just what I personally interpret them as, and I think it's a nice idea to have these sort of like somewhere like in your book of shadows. I think it's quite nice. So the first one is to know yourself. Basically, I feel that know yourself means just sort of like know who you are, and like know who you are. And this isn't just in a craft sense. This is just in actually like who you are like as a person. So basically it's knowing your sort of like positives as well as your negatives, and sort of like accepting the good and the bad parts about you, accepting yourself as a whole, and just being proud of who you are basically. And when you first read it, it's like know yourself, you can just sort of be like, yeah, I know myself. But when you actually think, it is actually like you've got to think like everything about yourself, like your whole self. Like it's important to, I don't know, just to know who you are, what makes you tick, I suppose. And I find for me personally that that's sort of come about more with age. Like as I've grown up, I definitely feel like I know myself like a lot better, even the bad parts. The second one, know your craft, which basically just means know what you're doing. Obviously, not everyone, you can't know absolutely everything. Obviously every good witch knows that there's always something else to learn, but it means like know your craft just means basically knowing your path like as you go along. I mean, it means things like when you're casting a spell, not to just cast a spell when you don't even have a clue what goes into it, the implications of the spell, and the importance of making sure that you've got the wording right and your intentions are pure and all that sort of thing. And yeah, it's just basically just knowing, I suppose. And yeah, not just going around and just being like, hey, like, I'm a witch, and someone says, oh, okay, like, what's that? And you're just sort of like, exactly. And if you don't really know, then you look a bit stupid, in my opinion, anyway. And yeah, it's just basically just know your craft. And learn, which sort of like ties into this one, is that, like I said, you can't know everything. There's always something else to learn. I mean, like, I've been in the craft quite a while now. About 13 years, 14 years, something like that, and I don't know everything. No way do I know everything. And I wouldn't say, oh, I've been in the craft for like X amount of years, like I know everything, because I'd just be stupid, and people would be like, well, no, you don't, because I don't. And it's important to like accept that. There's a lot of things I do know, but there's some things that I don't know, and I'm grown up and mature enough to, if someone said to me like something, and I'd be like, I've never heard of it, like I'd love to hear more, sort of thing. So, and it's always important to learn things, to keep your mind active, and to just, I don't know, just learn. And then the fourth one, apply knowledge with wisdom, basically means that it's important to sort of realise that knowledge and wisdom are two different things. I mean, someone can be really smart, but then they can have absolutely zero common sense. and in that respect can be really stupid because they have no common sense at all. And like, it'd be like, I don't know, they could be like the smartest person ever, but they wouldn't know how to cross the road without getting hit by a bus. So that doesn't make them very smart, really, overall. So it's about being knowledgeable, but as well applying wisdom to that knowledge. So sort of like using your intuition, and more importantly using your common sense as well. And I don't know, to use a really silly example, I suppose, would be, say you were going to be doing a ritual or casting a spell, or you were going to be, I don't know, filming a YouTube video, and you wanted to have candles lit in your background, and where you light your candles is super, super close to your curtains, and you haven't moved your curtains out the way or changed where your candles are going to be lit. So you've not done anything about it, but you know that it's like that close, so there is a really big possibility of your curtains catching on fire. So if you don't do anything about it or change your setup or whatever, that's not like applying a wisdom on your common sense, is it? So, yeah. The next one, achieve balance, which I find sometimes I struggle with, but it is about sort of finding a balance, like in your life and in your spiritual life as a whole, really. So sort of being grounded and just being balanced. Like, I guess being balanced would probably be like making sure that you look after yourself. Say that you're super excited about learning, I don't know, whatever aspect of the craft or whatever you want to learn, and you're super, super, super excited, which is like really great. But you're spending 15 hours a day literally solidly just like reading books and writing stuff down, and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not eating properly or sleeping properly or whatever, or you're not going to work, you're cancelling, you're calling in sick because you really just want to learn this. Well, you're not achieving balance, because scales have tipped that way. So the craft is literally weighing down your life, in that it's really good, you're enjoying what you're learning, but you're not looking after yourself. If you're not eating properly and you're not going to work and stuff, then consequence of that is you're going to get ill because you're not eating properly, and you're also going to lose your job because you're not going to work. So if you're not going to work, or if you're ill, you can't carry on learning stuff because you're physically just not able to. So yeah, it's all about balance. Keep your words in good order, which basically means that your intentions need to be pure, really. Like, I mean, and also, I think people don't realise, like, the impact that their words actually have. And, like, if your spells and things like that, I mean, sometimes if you wording it wrong, then it may not work, or it may go awry, and it literally is, I mean, you may be doing every other single thing right, but if your wording is wrong, or your intentions are wrong, then you may have, like, consequences. And I suppose the next one, keeping your thoughts in good order, is basically very much the same thing. If your thoughts and your intentions aren't pure and honourable, then, like, bad things can happen, I suppose. And it's not just in a craft sense, it's in like an overall sense. I mean, none of us are perfect, but if our intentions are good, even if sometimes our actions are not so good, then at least it sort of balances it out, or we have a conscience and are remorseful and learn from that sort of experience. 8, celebrate life. Celebrating life is such an important thing, and sometimes everyone's the same. We all have like bad days, and we're just like, oh, I really can't be bothered with, I don't know, or like even the littlest things like getting us down or whatever. But at the end of the day, we just need to be like, I don't know, celebrate the fact that we're alive, and the fact that, I don't know, that you've chosen your path, and that you're you, and no one else is you but you, and you're unique and special, even if you don't feel it sometimes. And I think that's just such an important lesson. And I know I feel so grateful to be alive, and just amazing. Like, yeah, it's just important to just celebrate the fact that you're alive and breathing and healthy. And I'm on a tune with the cycles of the earth, which basically means I don't know, just going outside and being like with the nature. It doesn't necessarily mean having to, I don't know, hug a 100-year-old oak tree for like 10 hours. Just means just like simple things like, I don't know, sometimes when you're outside and it's raining and you could just take a moment, just feel the rain on your face and just think, even though the weather's miserable, just think this rain is giving us life. It's helping the plants to grow and giving us water, and it's just part of the cycle of life. And like when it's sunny, just, and I don't know, instead of like saying, oh, it's hot, just be like, oh, it's beautiful, you can just feel the sun. And again, it's part of life, it's all about balance. And one of the things that I love to do that helped me attune to the cycles of earth is that I love to walk barefooted through grass, and it's just such a nice feeling. Just, I don't know, you can just feel the earth underneath your feet, and I feel like more connected. Like sometimes, especially in this like modern world of ours, which is like really good, but at the same time I feel like we've all got really disconnected from nature, and I'm like one of them. And it's just such a nice feeling to take your shoes off, take your man-made shoes off, and just have your feet and just feel the ground. And it's just, you have to try it. You have to, if you don't do it, you have to try it to believe it. It just feels like absolutely amazing. Breathe and eat correctly and exercise correctly, which is number 11. Those are all the same thing. So again, when I was saying about achieving balance, it's all about looking after yourself. And I mean, I'm not perfect. Like I have problems eating and stuff, like with my weight and my weight fluctuates and things like that. On the whole, I try to eat healthy, and be sort of healthy. I mean, I try to sort of be healthy for myself. I mean, your body is like a temple, and I know no one's perfect, and there's times when I neglect it, but on the whole, I am quite good at trying to look after my body and see it as a temple and look after it. And that's the same as exercising. Like, I try and sort of get outside in the fresh air and walk my dog and go to the gym and just everything. Just look after yourself is basically the main thing. It doesn't matter if you're a size 24 or if you're a size 4. Being healthy is relative and is individual to each person. What's healthy for you might not be healthy for me, and vice versa. So basically, again, it's about knowing yourself, about finding out what is right and what's healthy for you. So again, it's what's nice is that all these goals sort of interconnect with each other. The next one, meditate, number 12. I'm bad at meditating. I hold my hands up. I am bad, but I am going to try and that's another one of my intentions for this year, is to try and meditate more, which I promise I will. But I really enjoy meditating, and I think it's not even just meditating in the traditional sense. I think it's sort of like about mindfulness, really, and being sort of present and aware, like, of your surroundings and of your body, and the benefits of meditation. Obviously, there's so many like studies been published and all sorts. Like, meditation is like amazing, and there's so many techniques, and I'm not perfect when it comes to meditation. Sometimes I find it really hard to sort of focus and get in the zone, which I think a lot of people do, and meditation can be very hard. It can be very hard to shut off your mind, sort of thing. But that's why I like guided meditations, because I find it really, really helps me to sort of get in the zone, I suppose. It's just, I don't know, I just really like, I've bought a guided meditation CD, about 5 or 6 years ago, and the one that I bought was like for sort of like self-confidence and self-love, and I put it on my iPhone, and I had it on my iPad before I had an iPhone, and I love just sort of plugging my headphones in and like lying on my bed and just sort of like getting swept away in the sounds, and then sort of like having someone else sort of guide me into my meditative state and stuff. So if you're like me and you find it hard sort of meditating off your own back, I definitely would recommend guided meditations. And then the last one, honour the goddess and god. It's sort of quite self-explanatory, really. Obviously this is a very sort of like goddess-centered path, but at the same time it's important to remember that the goddess and the god are two halves of a whole, sort of thing. So it's like all about balance again. But yeah, no, it's important to sort of be grateful and thankful and honour the goddess and the god in any way you can, really. It can be something as simple as when you're outside and you see trash on the floor, and you could easily, and there's a trash can right there, you could just pick it up. I mean, you're honouring Gaia and like Mother Earth by doing that, just picking up, I don't know, that crisp packet and just chucking it in the trash sort of thing. I mean, that's something really simple, but you're honouring like the goddess and the fairies and everything by doing that. So it's something, it could be something as simple as that, really. So I will leave it there, as I'm sure I've been rambling, but I hope this has been helpful for you, and I would love to know if you incorporate the 13 goals, or sort of like try to sort of like live by the goals in your sort of like spiritual life and stuff, or if you interpret them differently to me. Would be I'd be really interested to like know what you think and stuff. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bless you.